To meet you.
So, Jim, tell us, what is new in Tridium, what is new in the Niagara framework, and how are you being part of this global story about the Internet of Things and its next iteration?
Well, let's start with where I come from. I just joined Tridium only 6 months ago. So I come from my own company that was operating in the Internet of Things space. And I think the first thing people need to understand is we need to be clear on what the Internet of Things is to begin with. The Internet of Things at the simplest level is just one device talking to another. And I think that the industry has gotten the idea that you can build these devices very fast, which you can, and very cheaply. But typically these devices, the fast and cheap versions of these devices don't integrate well into a broader building system. So a building is different than a single thermostat that you might have in your home that's driving data directly to the cloud and you're the only one interacting with it. In a building, it's a more complex system. But we are trying to bring to Tridium some of the speed and execution that we see and we had in a small startup. We're trying to bring that back to Tridium and really drive more of that innovation and to the edge devices.
How does Tridium and the Niagara framework help those? You just mentioned the issue that, one device talking to the cloud, fine. But if you've got heating and lighting and telecom and all of these different things, how does Tridium serve as a universal translator between those?
Well, it sounds like you listened to my talk earlier, but that's
I wasn't there, but I do know a little bit about it.
But that's exactly what it does. It does serve as this universal translator, essentially a hub for all the devices in the building, but it's doing more than just being a hub. While all the devices can connect into Niagara and into our hardware product called Jace, it's also sending controls back down to those devices. So we're not just receiving data, we're interacting with those devices. They can be reprogrammed, and it facilitates even the integration of those devices in a building, because we have another product or a piece of the Niagara product called Workbench that allows you to set up those control devices much more easily.
And in the end of the day, what do you see as the end game? What's the end benefit to the end user of having this degree of apportioned control?
It gives them full control over the entire building. So it's a way of controlling everything that goes on in that building, what valves are opened and closed, and it's providing that data. So you can have a comprehensive view if you connect all of the devices, whether they're IoT devices or wired devices or new kinds of wireless devices. It allows you to have a comprehensive view of everything going on in that building. And we provide the framework and the platform to integrate everything.
Tell me about a Tridium success story. What's a company that you were able to greatly improve their quality of life as a company by using Niagara?
Well, again, I discussed this earlier today. A great example is one of our customers is a convenience store operator. So they have several hundred convenience stores all over the U.S. And they started out integrating a fairly limited number of things, just their HVAC systems, which is typical for a Niagara implementation. And then they started incrementally adding more and more devices to that system. So today, they have a truly end-to-end comprehensive view of everything that goes on in every one of their 5,000 square foot convenience stores, which includes dispensing of gasoline, inventory reordering, automated service calls. So when the operator sees something that's out of spec based on the analytics dashboard they've created using Niagara, then that allows them to automatically dispatch a service truck to solve that problem. So today, they're collecting approximately 2,000 data points per store. So in a 5,000 square foot store, that means there's a data point for every 2.5 square feet. So that's pretty intense monitoring.
What kind of effect does this have on their bottom line? What kind of financial effect does this have?
To be honest, they haven't shared the detailed data with us, but clearly they are saving both energy. They feel that it allows the manager of the store to focus on sales, to focus on the basic operations of the store, and removes them entirely from the facility management piece. So they have smoother operations. They have inventory resupply, for instance, of the gasoline. So they know, the system knows, before even any human knows, when they need to resupply, and it automatically sends an order to the gasoline distributor. So
great. Are there some surprising ways that you've seen people enact the architecture?
I have not seen it personally,
Yeah.
but the most surprising that I have seen a video of is someone that used Niagara to manage a bear trap.
What?
Yes, in the field. So I'm not sure exactly to what end, but I think it was, they were able to...
to the end of the bear, probably.
Yeah, right.
That's terrific.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then we do other cool things internally. We do a lot of prototyping and testing of different ideas.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what is in the future? What's upcoming?
Again, I think the future is moving Niagara closer to the edge, perhaps embedding Niagara actually in edge devices. So that means in the control chip that's running different pieces of hardware.
I see.
That would make them easier to configure, easier to manage, and in some cases self-configuring. And then clearly we'll be moving to the cloud and putting more applications in the cloud and providing more analytics there so that customers can have much more easily a comprehensive view of everything that goes on in their buildings.
As someone whose background is in Internet of Things, can you look into your crystal ball and show us some things that we're going to start seeing? They may not be there yet, but what can you predict?
I think that what we're going to see very quickly, and maybe this is not much of a prediction, but I think we will see devices that have machine learning and AI embedded at the edge. Clearly, we're going to be doing machine learning and artificial intelligence applications in the cloud, and that already exists. So we will be driving more of that in the future, and I think that's probably coming in the next couple of years, at least some beginnings of that.
As someone looks for a way to enter the smart building movement, Internet of Things, what can you tell them as they're making their choices? What can you tell them about Tridium? What can you tell them about Niagara that might help them as they begin to make those choices?
Well, they should definitely use Niagara, of course.
But why Niagara over anyone else?
Honestly, because I do believe that we are essentially the platform of choice across many buildings. So we have several 100,000 installations worldwide. We have a robust developer community. We have a robust systems integrator community. And that ecosystem means that there's help, there's support, there are other applications that are going to be built. And again, we are the universal translator for buildings.
Jim, thank you so much for being with us. Jim Bland from Niagara telling us